What up, fam? Matrix Native here. And in today's videos, to the polls we go. And the hitters have spoken for today's viewer build. Looks like the U.S. Marshal SWAT made out at 67th percentile in this democratic voting process we got going on. I want to thank everybody that stopped by and voted on last week's poll. Check it again this week and vote for the next viewers build. With that being said, I want to thank everybody that swings by and leaves a positive comment and request for future builds. So let's track on and get on with today's video. I give you the U.S. Marshal Special Response Team and our Special Weapons and Tactics Team. On your feet, let's go get some history. Okay, operators, take a seat. So first, let's clear some stuff up. This is definitely going to be somewhat of a history about the U.S. Marshal Service SOG, Special Operations Group. However, I get this question all the time, and really, it's just basically up to the higher echelon, you know, those higher ups that make those godlike decisions. Whether your team or your group will be referred to as SWAT, SOG, SRT, or even STAR. STAR, Special Tactics Arrest and Rescue Team, that's more towards the U.S. Marshal Service. However, the Marshals also have what's referred to as SOG, Special Operations Group, right? That's pretty common, SOG, Special Operations Group. But then you have SRT, Special Response Team. So, during my Leo career in the South, we were referred to as SWAT. In the North, we were referred to as SRT. In the military, we were referred to as SOG, while I had boots on ground with high-speed units. So I wanted to clear that up. So before we start tracking on the TAC operations or the SOG group of the United States Marshals, let's go back and track on a little history of the actual United States Marshal Service, the USMS. Basically, it is a federal law enforcement agency within the U.S. Department of Justice. It is the oldest American federal law enforcement agency and was created by the Judiciary Act of 1789. That's a long flippin' time ago, during the presidencies of George Washington as the office of the United States Marshal. The USMS, as it stands today, was established in 1969 to provide guidance and assistance to the marshals throughout the federal judicial districts. So let's be mindful of this as it exists today. Meaning, as we think of the United States Marshal Service as of today, was actually instituted in 1969. However, the U.S. Marshal Service has been around since 1789. I think, well, that's almost as far back as any of my histories go in military or in private Leo sectors. So, tracking on with that, the U.S. Marshal Service is the primary agency for fugitive operations, the protection of officers of the federal judiciary, the management of criminal assets, the operations of the United States Federal Witness Protection Program. I know a lot of you guys thought that the FBI took care of that, but in actuality, they go ahead and pass the said victims or complainant or defendant to the U.S. Marshal Service. Throughout its history, the Marshals have also provided unique security and enforcement services, including protecting African American students enrolling in the South during the Civil Rights Movement, escort security for United States Air Force LGM-30 missile convoys, law enforcement for the United States Antarctica program, and protection of the new Strategic National Stockpile. And we might have to do a little history on said Strategic National Stockpile. I don't know, I really try to stay away from that kind of stuff here on the channel. So let's go ahead and zero and track on what this history and build is really all about. The Tactical Operations, Special Operations Group, and STAR. So the U.S. Marshal Tactical Operations deputies carry out hundreds of special missions each year that are related to the Marshal Service broad federal law enforcement and judicial security responsibilities. They respond to national emergencies as well as crises involving Homeland Security. The agency's Tactical Operations Division oversees such efforts. The division directs, coordinates, manages, and supports the following Marshal Service entities: the Special Operations Group, Office of Emergency Management, basically the OEM, we haven't talked about them yet, Office of Inspection, Emergency Operations Center, and the Marshal Service Communications Center. This division serves as the primary point of contact between the Office of the Director and the district's headquarters divisions and other agencies in regards to operational matters. Whenever the Marshal Service Director authorizes a special assignment or a special security mission, it is the marshals of the Tactical Operation Divisions that carry out those orders. Okay, with that being said, so once the TAC Ops gets that call on the red phone, you can bet your buddy's nutsack that the next outgoing call will be that of the United States Marshals SOG. Who the Special Operations Group is a specifically trained and highly disciplined tactical unit. It is a self-supporting response team capable of responding to emergencies anywhere in the United States or its territories. Most of the deputy marshals who have volunteered to be SOG members serve as a full-time deputies in Marshal Services offices throughout the nation, and they remain on call 24 hours a day for SOG mission. The SOG also maintain a small full-time operational cadre stationed at the Marshal Service Tactical Operations Center at Camp Beauregard, Louisiana. There, all SOD deputies undergo extensive specialized training in tactics and weaponry. These deputies must meet rigorous physical and mental standards. The group's mission include apprehending fugitives, protecting dignitaries, providing court security, transporting high-profile and dangerous prisoners, providing witness security, and seizing assets. Okay, operator, so in closing, let me also say that there is a team known as STAR, Special Tactics Arrest and Rescue Team with the U.S. Marshal Service. However, let me also emphasize that they are SOG as well. They are SOG as well, depending on where you're at in the United States will basically depend on what your team's called. SRT, SWAT, in the Marshal Service, STAR, are SOG. Just remember, they're all hitters on the same hitter tree. I guess that's what I'm trying to put out there. Also, when I say that there are full-time SOG cadres, basically, as a SOG member, you are not necessarily a full-time SOG member. What that gives you is a chance to train with all the high-speed gear, and then when shit pops off, guess who gets the call? You do. So if you're pushing a desk somewhere, you get that call, guess what? You're out of there. So let's remember that. If you're SOG or STAR, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you do full-time. You'll have your turnout gear and you'll obviously gear out once you get that call that we all love to get. Trust me. If you're part of SRT, SWAT, STAR, it doesn't matter. We all love to get that call. And to be honest, this is why. I always tell my students, say, basically, this is what's up, right? After school, you go to what? You go to football practice, or wrestling practice, or baseball, or whatever. An athletic event, right? Well, why are you training? You're training up for the big game. You're training up to go out there and stick somebody, and be victorious. Well, it's no different in SRT, SWAT, STAR, or SOG. It's no difference in the military or civilian Leo. We all train up for the big game. With that being said, operators on your feet. Let's fucking cruise down range.